Hey guys, thanks for stopping by. In this video, I want to show you my honest review, and I hope I will be able to highlight all the pros and cons of this product. So let's begin.
My wife was behind the wheel that horrible night. A registered nurse who, after finishing her night shift and unable to see the two pedestrians until it was too late, had a terrible accident, and it wasn't even her fault.
It was all because of deteriorating vision problems that her doctors were unable to fix for 6 years, despite assuring us that their overpriced multi-thousand-dollar treatments worked.
To this day, it pains me to even think about what happened next, and I'll never forgive myself for not being able to take care of my wife. But that precise moment made me realise that losing your vision can be deadly, and that promises from eye care specialists are just a bunch of big, fat lies.
This sent me on a completely unexpected 2-year-long journey through the dark underbelly of the multi-billion-dollar eye care industry controlled by big pharma moguls, and eventually led me to discover a completely natural, highly effective and inexpensive method that can make it possible for you to enjoy perfect eyesight while protecting yourself from macular degeneration, cataracts, glaucoma or diabetic retinopathy. Despite what you've been led to believe, the root cause of vision loss has nothing to do with your age, and everything to do with something deeply peculiar and dangerous that's happening inside your body at this very moment.
Here's a hint. An enzyme is causing dangerous inflammation and deteriorating your eyesight with each passing day.
And once you'll discover what it is, you can forget about costly eye surgery, lens implants, endless visits to the eye doctors, and all your worries related to the threat of vision loss or impairment. Your future does not have to include squinting, thick glasses, poor eyesight, shaky night vision, light sensitivity, or bumps and bruises because you can't see where you're going.
Stay with me and put the brakes on deteriorating eyesight and safeguard your vision today. In the next 5 minutes,
you'll find out why more and more Americans suffer from vision loss, even though there's nothing physically wrong with their eyes. How your deteriorating eyesight may in fact be responsible for the hidden inflammation in your body, causing migraines, dizziness, and other complications. How a famous brain doctor from Japan uncovered an enzyme that's directly involved in all vision problems. This research changes everything the medical community knows about restoring your vision, and the clinically proven, simple, 6-second method that you can use starting today to enjoy excellent eyesight again, regardless of your age, medical condition, or the severity of your eyesight problems. Along with all the papers, tests, and experiments from Augusta University, the Chicago College of Medicine, and other medical centers that prove how it works.
That's why it's absolutely crucial you stick with me until the very end of my story, while you still have the chance, because I don't know how much longer I'll be able to keep this presentation online.
The global eyewear industry is worth $150 billion. These fat cats are perfectly happy to shatter your physical and mental health, forcing their overpriced lenses down your throat and becoming obscenely rich in the process. One eyewear manufacturer alone made $10 billion last year.
So it's only logical they're scared that my dirt cheap method will put them out of business overnight. They don't want you to have perfect eyesight. They need to keep you a customer for life. So please, stay on this page, because this information could save your life or the life of someone you love.
You're just one step away from feeling like a normal person again. Just imagine stress-free night drives, long hours at your computer, working on a puzzle, playing golf, reading your favorite books, or any close work hobby like sewing can become a pleasure again. Breaking free of the need for your fragile, easily shattered glasses or uncomfortable contact lenses, while enjoying dramatically better eyesight than you have in years, decades, or even in your entire life. As soon as today, and just like more than 67,000 Americans who have already experienced the results of this powerful eyesight restoration method for themselves. Robert P., 82, Pennsylvania.
When I woke up with a painful headache, I didn't think much of it because at my age, I'm used to all sorts of aches and pains. But when I realised I could not see out of my right eye, I was alarmed and went immediately to my ophthalmologist. An MRI revealed that a mini stroke had damaged my optic nerve. I was advised by the doctor to accept the loss of vision in that eye and be grateful my left eye with 20/20 vision was not affected. Then I heard about you, Larry, and in 1 month I was no longer blind. Instead of seeing black, there was a grey band obscuring the upper part of my right eye that would move when I blinked. But I could see! Even my doctor was amazed. I will continue with your method, Larry, because you are definitely the best, and I want to express my gratitude for your work.
Carolyn T., 60, Detroit.
It worked! Oh my God, it really worked! I suffered from blurry vision in my eyes, and your method cleared my vision in less than a month. At first I didn't think this was possible, but this method deserves an award.
Charlie M., 58, Kentucky.
I'd been wearing glasses for 28 years. By 4 p.m., my eyes were so tired and blurry I could hardly read my own license plate. But what was really making me worry was that my sight seemed to be getting worse. I never had any luck with eye supplements. I tried bilberry, lutein, and eyebright, and other remedies, but they just did nothing for me. Good money down the drain. But I really wanted to improve my vision, so I gave your method a shot. About 2 weeks later, I was able to read my cell phone screen better, even the small characters. I'll certainly continue using it. For the first time in my life, I noticed a big improvement.
Starting today, you can say goodbye to the fear of losing your eyesight and hello to your favourite books, movies, driving and all the activities you love, like sports and family gatherings that require good vision. I know how amazing it sounds, especially if you've been suffering in silence and tried everything while thinking there's no escape whatsoever. So let's not waste any more time. It's time you broke free from the vision loss prison.
Hi, my name is Larry Stevenson. I'm 55 years old and live in a small town near Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, together with my dear wife, Lucy. I want you to know right from the beginning that I'm not a doctor, nor a lens specialist. I recently retired after a 30-year career as a medicinal chemist. It's a crucial job, as people who are sick rely on us for relief.
Medicinal chemists work in teams with scientists to research and develop compounds that can be used as pharmaceutical treatments. Our greatest accomplishments are creating new formulas that can actually treat illnesses. If we also succeed in finding a way to make the manufacturing process less expensive, and thus treatments more accessible, then we consider we did a great job. Back in the days when Big Pharma weren't so desperate to stuff their greedy pockets, I've witnessed a few medical breakthroughs and seen life-changing treatments take birth.
Of course, none of them compares to the vision loss remedy I'm about to reveal to you. It all started 8 years ago, when my wife Lucy began losing her eyesight.
At first, she had blurry eyes, but then things got worse, and she couldn't even recognize friends 10 feet away from her. Lucy is a registered nurse, so she would always meet patients that became her friends in time. And when they saw her, they'd smile and wave at her, even from across the street, which made her feel loved and important. You can imagine how devastated she was when she realized that the easiest, most natural thing in the world now became the hardest. Seeing your friends and saying hi to them. She simply could not recognize them until they were very close to her. So she'd constantly feel embarrassed and apologized when people told her she wasn't saying hi anymore.
I was worried for her, and of course we had seen a doctor already. The best one. Waited for a whole month to see him.
It took him 10 minutes to examine her eyes and prescribe 2 pairs of lenses for near and far vision. So we got ourselves 2 pairs of glasses that Lucy hated. The whole thing cost around $2,000. All I wanted to know was why. Why was this alienating disease happening to her? Because here's the weird thing. After the consultation, the doctor told us that nothing was physically wrong with her eyes. Sometimes these things just happen, especially with age, he said, raising his shoulders. And that was that. No other explanations. I hated him. Lucy's eyes were tired. She felt really old, and she was embarrassed to be seen by our friends with glasses, even though she looked sexy and was very beautiful. And she constantly complained about the inconvenience of always having to bring them along, clean them and store them properly so they don't break. She also tried all sorts of capsules and drops recommended to her by doctors, or products that she found on the internet that we spent thousands of dollars on with no results. It only ended up making her more and more frustrated.
So she started isolating herself, refusing invitations to dinner parties and bridge nights. But the worst was yet to come.
One Thursday, Lucy stayed in the hospital until 11 p.m. I usually drove her to work and back, but this time I was out with some friends from college, including Robert, a renowned ophthalmologist in Sweden. Lucy promised she would wear her glasses and drive home by herself. On the way back, she saw two teenagers crossing the street. She saw them late and had to swiftly pull on the steering wheel, crashing into a tree. The tree fell over the car. By 11:35 p.m, Lucy was lying crushed under a 900-pound tree, with her legs stuck between bent and twisted iron. Long, horrendous minutes passed until an ambulance came, and I can only imagine what Lucy felt. Barely conscious, not able to understand what was happening to her, and without being able to see. It was a gruesome wait. After examining her, the doctor told us she had a broken leg and a concussion, and she needed a lot of stitches, but overall there was a good chance she would fully recover. The two teenagers crossing the street were also fine with no bruises, only a huge scare.
All this time, I kept saying to myself, how could you let her drive knowing she cannot see well? How could you be so unconscious? I was furious at myself, and I was furious at eye doctors and the whole eye care industry that promised their damned treatments would restore her vision.
I wondered if my wife would ever be the same again. All I could do was pray for a miracle that will make everything right again. When Lucy finally woke up in the hospital, she started crying her heart out, convinced everything was her fault. I could have killed them. I can't live with myself anymore, my wife murmured, bitter tears running down her cheeks. Her words tore my soul apart. I'm of no use to anyone. It's getting harder and harder for me to get around. Never. We're going to get through this, I told her, and I meant it. I stood by her bed, looking at her while she slept, dreading the thought she could have been dead if the tree would have fallen on her side of the car, worrying what might happen if she could never get back on her feet, her mental health getting worse, her eyesight deteriorating while she became a shadow of herself.
I had to do something. I sure wasn't going to stand back and watch how my lovely wife was falling apart while being lied to that their treatments worked.
So, first thing in the morning, I got in front of the computer and started my quest. I was determined to find a solution that didn't require any lenses or surgery, because I knew for sure they drained the life out of her, hurting her eyes with no guarantees that she wouldn't go completely blind eventually. There was one particular question that kept haunting me. What do people with perfectly good eyes and those that cannot see well have in common? There are a lot of people who, just like my wife, suffer from vision loss even though nothing is physically wrong with them. So I went on analysing hundreds of articles and studies, searching for the root cause of worsening eyesight. I'll spare you all the boring details and cut directly to the interesting parts. You see, the eye is like a camera. It captures an image, focuses it with the help of your crystalline lens and cornea, and records it on the level of your retina. Your retina partially decodes the image and transforms it into electrical impulses that your optic nerve sends to your brain. Some scientists believe that eyesight loss happens when these electrochemical impulses start dying. What scientists hadn't figured out was why these impulses die. And that's where the medical community shrugs its shoulders, officially coming to a dead end, leaving things in the air for decades and simply blaming old age.
What very few people know is that in 2018, a group of researchers dared to venture further. The group of explorers came from the University of Illinois College of Medicine.
These Chicago scientists uncovered a whole new part of the eye that holds the key to eyesight restoration. Researchers said, We now know that there are two different routes into the central visual system instead of just one, and the new one was related to the brain. Their breakthrough study showed that decoded impulses in the retina have a previously unknown route extension that allows them to communicate directly with the brain to regulate the clarity of the image. They revealed a new type of brain cell situated at the level of the retina that were responsible for the partial decoding of the images. Think of them as the brain's special messengers inside your eyes. This means that vision loss goes way deeper than your eyes. It's actually rooted in the brain.
In other words, we don't see with our eyes, we see with our brain. More specifically, with the brain neurons situated on the retina.
This can explain why people with perfectly healthy eyes are unable to see clearly. They cannot turn signals into images because something is happening in their brains, or maybe the neurons in their retina are no longer capable of transmitting the electrochemical impulses to the brain, thus losing the connection. In other words, the senders of images have lost the connection with the receivers of images. This can also be the explanation as to why so many people suffering from eyesight loss also suffer from fatigue, anxiety, depression and migraines. They are suffering from problems with the communication network in their brain. The signals never reach their end destination, where they should be processed into images.
After learning about these mind-blowing discoveries, I became obsessed. What blocks retinal neurons to stop sending the right answers to the brain?
If retinal neurons were the ones responsible for decoding and transmitting the vision signals to the brain, shouldn't we focus on how the brain and eyes work together? Shouldn't all treatments focus on filling this communication gap? The next day, I called the only person in the world that could answer this question. My good ophthalmologist friend Robert, who was visiting me the night of the accident.
I have to confess that I called him full of hope, with a stack of medical papers and plans on my desk. I was convinced that he would help me develop a new technology that would save thousands of lives. So I began telling him all about my idea.
We need to address both brain cells and eyes together and activate the sender and receiver of images at the same time for a clear connection. He stopped me and said, "Larry, these things cannot be discussed by phone." I insisted, telling him about my wife, and he said, "Larry, please stop." And he hung up on me. It didn't make any sense. Why couldn't we talk about this on the phone? Couldn't he even tell me at least if my reasoning was correct? I couldn't give up here. Something deep inside my belly was telling me I was right. So I booked an appointment with my wife's ophthalmologist and went to tell him about my discovery. He was always very friendly to me, yet after telling him about my discoveries, he told me that even if what I was saying was possible, big pharmaceutical companies and their experts, who were way more experienced than we were, would have done it already.
I was mad. Why was everybody opposed to finding a remedy to poor eyesight and vision loss? Something was clearly wrong, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it.
There must be a higher power up there though, because a few days later, I received a lucky phone call that made everything fall into place. At the other end of the line was my friend Robert again, who told me he was coming to the States in 2 days. He had booked a meeting in Chicago with one of the most respected brain experts in the entire world. He told me, "Please don't ask me for more details now. The only thing I can tell you is, I think we can fix your problem." I was delighted. 2 days passed by and we all met in Chicago, in a small restaurant in Old Town. Robert introduced me to Dr. Kenji Kanemaru, a famous brain expert from Japan, whom Robert met in Canada, where he had multiple presentations about the latest discoveries on advanced brain functions. Then he told me how Dr. Kenji Kanemaru considered one of his responsibilities to be the development of new and innovative treatments that would help humanity evolve. Impressed and a little bit intimidated by the talented Dr. Kanemaru, I started telling him the story of my wife and my own personal research on the matter. Then I asked him, why is there no off-the-shelf treatment that can connect the two components, the brain and eyes? And why don't ophthalmologists talk about it? Dr. Kanemaru told me, "Larry, they obviously don't know, and it's not their fault. The industry is worth billions, not to mention those fancy lenses you have to replace every 3 months. The drops and artificial tears that you continuously buy, the surgeries and even the expensive drugs for headaches. Why would they allow a cure when they can take your money for the rest of your life? Treating innocent folks like this is what keeps their labs going, and they have no intention to look for a cheaper solution. Every time somebody comes with a natural ingredient that's proven to work, they just ban it from further testing, claiming it's dangerous or homeopathic nonsense.
Suddenly, I understood the reason why I found clinical studies talking about natural remedies for vision loss, but never actually found these formulas over the counter. I was enraged. The eye care industry would rather have people go blind, even die as in the case of my wife, instead of looking for an efficient and cost-effective cure. I'd been working in the medical field for so long, and I hadn't even noticed all these things. I was horrified.
So then, my next question was, how can you connect the eyes with the brain for a clearer image? And Dr. Kanemaru and my friend Robert, the best ophthalmologist from Sweden, explained to me. Last year, with the help of cellular biologists from Augusta University, we came to the conclusion that the only way to improve this neural link was to greatly reduce an enzyme from your body called arginase 2, A2. This prevents the death of the neurons from your retina and prevents the decay of fiber links that connect your neurons to each other and finally the brain. Actually, this enzyme from our bodies is the enemy that amplifies the destruction and decay of your sight. From this research, the Augusta University team, together with the Japanese University of Dr. Kanemaru and the Association of Swedish Ophthalmologists, created an experiment on 93 people, all with vision problems. Some had blurry details, others found it hard to see driving at night. Some had floaters in their eyes, problems with focusing, eye fatigue, dry eyes, poor vision in dim light, even allergies and inflammation. This research showed the following facts. When the level of the A2 enzyme increases, the cells in your retina, optic nerve and central nervous system start to deteriorate, allowing your neurons to die in less than 7 days. This swiftly increases eye and vision problems and can eventually leave you completely blind. Dr. Kanemaru was able to eliminate the deadly A2 enzyme from the body of these 93 people with the help of a few specially selected extracts. These included huperzine A, an inhibitor of the A2 enzyme, alpha-GPC, which increases blood flow to the brain, and phosphatidylglycerine, food for your nerve cells, and some other special plants to increase the effects. After suppressing the A2 enzyme, we noticed that retinal neurons started reconnecting with one another through the electrical chemical impulses of the brain, which led to a decrease, even complete elimination, of all vision problems that the 93 people were suffering from. At the same time, they noticed a great decrease in all bodily inflammation, including an improvement in damage to blood vessels in the back of the eyes, which can appear as a consequence of hypertension or type 2 diabetes.
I felt like jumping up and down with joy like a 5-year-old.
Then Robert told me, "Don't get too excited, Larry, because Big Pharma would never allow us to make this brilliant solution public. It could work so well, it would help millions of people get rid of their worries and anxiety over poor vision problems. They would act swiftly, and they would quickly forbid it. They'd try to get all these ingredients banned, claiming they are dangerous or homeopathic nonsense, the same way they banned 129 other plants in the history of humanity that worked for other diseases." And he quickly showed me a list on his phone.
I had never seen this list before in my life. I felt like I wanted to cry, but for the first time in years, I understood what was happening and I felt hope that I could actually save the life of my wife and the lives of those with the same suffering. I was willing to take the risk. I couldn't stand there with my arms crossed, waiting for my wife and millions of Americans to go blind while eye care executives collect another fat check. I was tired of waiting and seeing how everything around me was crumbling to pieces.
Seeing how committed and desperate I was, my friend Robert told me he had my back. and Dr. Calamaro said he wouldn't leave the two of us alone and he'd help us all the way. Nothing could stop us now. We had the formula, the medical knowledge, and a lab all to ourselves. We searched the whole world through our scientific connections and only worked with certified producers and verified suppliers, making sure that for our recipe we only used top quality ingredients, pure ingredients sourced from local growers that let plants naturally reach their full maturity and use no herbicides. 100% effective, prepared the right way in order to keep their properties intact and using the right potency. And safe, processed under strict sterile standards with regularly disinfected equipments, all meant to inhibit the blindness-causing A2 enzyme from our bodies. It was exhausting. We secretly worked day and night with a large, modern, yet discreet manufacturing facility in the USA that could take care of everything. In this way, we could produce this potent mixture in the quantity we wanted in tiny, easy-to-swallow capsules. We were testing until dawn, making sure we got the right quantities and the most effective combination of ingredients. In the end, there it was. My hands were shaking as I was finally holding the formula that would stop my wife's vision problem and bring our lives back.
If this tiny natural pill was the most effective treatment to vision loss, it would have been a miracle.
Of course, my wife was the very first to try it. All she had to do was take 2 vegetable capsules every day with a big glass of water. She was rather skeptical and at that point really tired of my scientific adventures, and who could blame her? After long, painful physical therapy sessions, her legs had healed, but her head still hurt from the accident, so she was certainly not in a great mood. But since she knew I was investing every penny I had to produce the first batch of capsules, she agreed to at least try it out. The first few days, nothing happened. She wasn't seeing anything special. She sighed and asked me whether I was going to help her search for a decent nursing home. So I had to beg her to continue. I showed her over and over again all of our research, asking her to take one more leap of faith and continue with the program. After a few more days, something amazing happened. I asked her to check our electricity bill and tell me what the total was, and she immediately did it, without glasses. Even Lucy was surprised when she realized it. I, on the other hand, noticed something else. She was now reading for more than an hour a day, without her eyes getting tired, and she wasn't able to read for more than 20 minutes before. We didn't talk much about this because we didn't want to jinx it, but I could see her improvements clearly now. Her headaches were gone, and she could see people on the other side of the street perfectly again.
16th of May was a day to remember.
The neighbour's dog ran away from home during the night, and she was the first to see him, in the dark more than 200 feet away. She cried, big tears of joy. She could now see clearly again. And before the night ended, we threw her pair of glasses in the Schuylkill River. It was so liberating. We had broken the curse of eye problems and vision loss. You bet we wanted to get the formula into the hands of as many people as possible. One person alone was not enough to prove this remedy worked. And if it worked for us, would it work for everyone? We needed to test it on more people who suffered from vision loss and headaches. People whose brain cells and eyes were screaming at that very moment, help, because of excessive A2 enzyme buildup. They had to be dealing with poor eyesight or vision loss for at least 1 year. If they had tried all sorts of solutions with no success, even better.
After posting ads online and in local newspapers, asking for people who might be willing to test our one-of-a-kind formula, we had a total of 54 people ready to embark on our experiment.
The results exceeded our wildest dreams. Without exception, and within a few weeks, all 54 volunteers reported dramatic improvements. They could all see clearly again, near and far, with vibrant colours, giving up their glasses or cancelling their eye surgeries. A lot of them said that they are feeling healthier and that they noticed less inflammation across their bodies. Our subjects were experiencing bursts of energy and restful sleep. No anxiety or headaches. We received email messages and phone calls. All our volunteers were overwhelmed and kept asking for more of our plant-based vision restoring capsules.
It was clear as daylight that we were on a mission.
We had created a clinically proven and all-natural supplement that allows you to target the real root cause of eyesight loss, regenerate your brain cells, and supercharge the connection between your eyes and your brain. We call it Revision, the only 100% natural blend that addresses the root cause of vision loss, the connection between the eye and the brain. Every capsule is manufactured in the USA, in our FDA-registered and GMP-compliant facility, under sterile, strict and precise standards. We are regularly disinfecting the equipment used to process the ingredients and package our supplements. Revision capsules are non-GMO and safe. They do not contain any dangerous stimulants or toxins, and they are not habit-forming. And even though getting your eyesight back with Revision is as easy as ABC, the formula can be more powerful than any lenses or surgery on the planet. Because it does more than just help you see everything clearly again. It also boosts the health of your eyes and brain, helps you see great at night, keeps your focus clear and your vision detailed and sharp. It also gives your eyes triple protection against common problems like glaucoma, cataracts and macular degeneration.
You'll notice yourself thinking better, feeling sharper and more relaxed. You might also notice your old headaches and migraines suddenly come to a stop.
67,000 people have already transformed their lives and brains with Revision. People like Doris S., 62, Massachusetts.
My eyes really started bothering me in my late 50s. After a day on the computer, my focus was shot. My eyes were tired, and that took all the enjoyment out of my evening. Immediately after taking Revision, the eye strain vanished and my focus improved.
Jack B., 57, New York.
Revision is a miracle for my eyes. After years of working in construction and despite my protective glasses, my vision is poor. I'd say my eyes are just plain old, but my wife told me to start taking Revision. 1 month later, I can see better at night and I'm solving crossword puzzles again.
Thomas W., 60, Illinois.
About 7 months ago, I went to see an ophthalmologist because I'm a diabetic. His examination showed severe cataracts. He prescribed a surgery right away, but I had told him I would think it over, since surgery of any kind scares me to death. One day my daughter showed me your video, and I started taking Revision. After a month, I decided to go to the ophthalmologist again, and guess what? He did not say a word about cataracts or surgery. I'm really impressed. I owe the improvement of my eyes to you.
All you have to do in order to achieve the same dramatic improvements in your eyes is to start using Revision as soon as possible. The solution is much simpler and closer than you think, and you can get access to everything in the next 90 seconds.
If you're ready to give up the burden of eye problems and vision loss and bring excitement, energy and satisfaction back into your life, if you're ready to say yes to this big change, you first need to ask yourself, how much is it worth to you to be in full control of your eyesight? No worries about changing your lifestyle, limiting your mobility or becoming a burden to others due to the poor health of your eyes and brain. Just take a second. Imagine how much that would be worth. $50,000? $20,000? $5,000? Even though Dr. Kanemaru recommended I sell the 30-day supply of Revision for no less than $797, considering the 2 years of research, manufacturing and testing we've invested in. And even though my dear Lucy suggested $597, seeing how she got her life back and how she now sees like an eagle, while our local herb growers would have asked for $397 just for the high quality of the ingredients. And even though many of the 67,000 people who got to experience Revision said they'd gladly pay triple.
This isn't about money for me. I'll never forget what I felt when I saw my wife being hurt in that horrendous accident. And the moment when Lucy told me there was no point in living anymore will be burned into my memory forever. I never want anyone to feel as helpless as I did.
That's why I'll never ask for $597, $397, or even half of that. I just want to cover the cost of the ingredients and keep this site running for as long as I can. Even though I'll have to charge $97 for one bottle of Revision soon, which is still way less than those annoying lenses and certainly a lot less than surgery. The fact that you gave me your trust and stayed with me all through this presentation means a lot. You can get a 30-day supply of Revision for a one-time fee of just $69. That's right, just $69. Before you order, one last thing. After thoroughly researching all the ingredients of Revision and running a lot of tests, I recommend you take this supplement for at least 90 days. On one hand, it's about giving your eyes and brain enough time to process and take full advantage of all the plant extracts and rediscover every single detail around you. On the other hand, Revision is selling incredibly fast. Once it's sold out, it will take us at least 6 to 9 months to produce a new batch, because we're only accepting the purest ingredients. Of course, we're committed to supporting you in every way that we can. So we're going to let you order a batch of 3 bottles or 6 bottles for a huge discount. We want your brain cells and eyes to easily absorb every repairing ingredient of our formula, and make sure no obstacle, not even stress or anxiety, will stand in your way. So, in order for you to have every tool you need for a perfect eyesight, we created this 100% natural blend to significantly calm down your nervous system, increase your positive mood, and help you sleep better and wake up refreshed. Ingredients such as L-theanine, gamma, or bacopa will ensure you're completely relaxed so you can maximize your body's ability to heal. Take a look below. Once you order, you'll be taken to a secure checkout page. Just fill in your payment details using a credit card, debit card, or PayPal. Immediately after you fill in your information and confirm your order, your bottles of Revision will be shipped right to your doorstep. And if you order the 3-bottle or 6-bottle package, which we highly recommend as we could run out of stock any moment now, just click below to select your package. Your order today is a one-time payment with no subscription or hidden charges. All you need to keep in mind is that Revision can be found only on this page and is not available for purchase anywhere else. This is your only chance to grab this exclusive formula. Once again, Revision is selling very fast, and once it will be sold out, it will take us 3 to 6 months to restock on the pure rare ingredients and produce another batch. In the meantime, I'm dealing with threats from eyewear industry moguls and risking the safety of my family for your safety. So make your choice below.
If you're skeptical, I totally get you. You've tried a lot of methods. Like my wife Lucy, you've spent a lot of money and nothing really worked. I am so confident that Revision works that I'm going to give you
our ironclad 60-day money-back guarantee. If you don't experience dramatic improvements, or you're not content for any reason whatsoever, we will issue a full refund, no questions asked. All you need to do is contact us within the first 60 days from your purchase. It doesn't matter if you've used up the entire bottle, we will still give you your money back. This means you have 2 whole months to decide if Revision is for you or not. There's no hidden fees or subscriptions with your order, just a safe and secure checkout form. Choose the package you want below. Listen, when you think about it, you really only have 2 choices ahead of you right now. Option 1. Stop following this presentation and leave this page. Do nothing. Keep going the way you are now, feeling left out, wondering how you will manage if your eyesight gets worse, or if you'll simply stop seeing on your own. Sick and tired of asking everyone around you to help you read something, and fearing they'll eventually get tired of being around you. Always trapped in a cycle of anxiety, doubt, and loneliness. That's exactly what those godless pharma giants want you to do. Option 2. Risk nothing at all today. Grab Revision right now, and you'll be surprised at how well it works and how it makes your whole life easier. Do yourself a favor. Protect your most precious possession, your eyesight. Order Revision today and enjoy sharp, eagle-eye vision for the rest of your life. So just click below to make your choice, enter your payment details on our secure order form, and place your order now. And within 24 hours, we'll ship your package straight to your home.
I can't wait for you to experience every single benefit that Revision has to offer. Yours, Larry.
Cool, right? Check out our amazing deals on thousands of products. Click the link in the description.